This is a complete step-by-step walkthrough on how to make your very own scented candles at home. At the end of the video, you'll be able to sell these to someone, give these to someone, or just enjoy them yourself. Why am I doing this video? Because my wife entered our kids into a children's business fair a few weeks from now, and this is the business they decided to do. After looking at several online tutorials, I think we found a pretty quick and convenient way to do it. First things first, let's get your supplies. Obviously, you're going to need to pick the type of container you want. We chose a glass bottle. You can buy glass bottles in bulk, or you can do like we did and just start saving the glass jars that housed our jelly for our peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. In hindsight, it's surprising how many of those we saved. After you have your glass bottles, the next thing you're going to need is your wax. There are several different wax products you can choose from. You can buy blocks of wax, shaved wax. You can buy them in different sizes. We ultimately found that 1 pound bags of wax would net us 2 jelly jar sized candles. Obviously, the more wax you buy, the more candles you can make, and the more in bulk you buy, the cheaper the wax becomes. If you're interested in doing something like this, I will put a link in the description below to everything in the video that we used. It's basically a complete materials list for making your own candles at home. The other things you're going to need are your scents, wick holders. You can buy specific wick holders. They really aren't necessary because if you have things like chopsticks, you can rubber band a few chopsticks together to pull your wick through and hold it up while you're pouring your wax if you're not interested in buying actual wick holders. You also have to decide what kind of wick you want. Do you want a traditional wick or do you want a flat wooden one that crackles when you burn? The last thing you need, and it really isn't necessary, it's just how creative do you want to get with your candle making, is dye for the wax so you can have different colored candles at the end. When you have everything and you're ready to get started, the first thing you need to do is to cut your wicks to size. I would leave them a little bit longer so you can attach them to your wick holders. Initially, you're going to attach them to your wick holder base, and once that's done, just take some pliers and clamp the wick into place. Then all you need is a little putty or glue or tape to stick that wick base in the base of your jar, and then suspend your wick vertically as you await to pour the wax. For us, we basically just prepared all our glass jars first, and then we started melting the wax. Melting the wax was pretty easy. Even though you can see here my son stirring it, you really don't have to. It all just melts. My wife read online that the ideal temperature is 185 degrees for the wax. I'm not really sure why, but I kept it in there until it reached 185 degrees, and once it did, I started pouring it into the glass jars. And I should mention, to melt the wax, we used the double boiler method. Basically, a large pot filled with water, get that boiling, and then put a smaller pot that has the wax into the boiling water and let it melt that way. While the wax is melting, that's when you're going to want to take your dye if you're interested, and your scents if you're interested, and put it in there. You don't really have to stir. It will mix on its own pretty well just through the melting process. Again, once it's done, you can start pouring your wax into the glass jars. It's as simple as that. Once you're done pouring, you just wait. As it dries, you can see your candle forming. We just bought red color and blue color. And obviously, when we mixed a little bit of that, we came up with purples. We had the plain white candles, the red candles, and the purple colors. So for just buying 2 color dyes, you can end up with 4 different candle colors. The one thing you'll notice, however, is once you're done with the pour and once it dries, some of your candles might have a bubble at the top. All you have to do for that is to take a heat gun, melt just the wax at the top, and it really only takes a matter of seconds. And then when it re-dries, it will clear those bubbles and your candles will look perfect. All that's left is to just trim your wicks and you're good to go. This was really simple. If you're doing it with your kids, you just really want to be careful, obviously, around the boiling water and the melted wax. And if you're having to use the heat gun, it's simple enough that they can use it. I would just make sure that you're around. Have fun making your own candles, everybody, and I'll see you next time.